What's up, everybody? Today it's all about the main dish. Stick around and I'll show you what we're making. Pork chops and some gravy. Oh yeah, I can't wait. And I've got Denise from VertiWorks with us because that's where I got the recipe from, and she's going to talk about this recipe a little bit and explain it and offer some tips, and I can't wait. So here we go. So Denise, today I'm doing the pecan crusted pork chops and also gravy. Tell me a little bit about the pork chops.
I just saw it one day and I just thought the pecans would just be amazing, to use as a breading and be a change of pace, other than the pork rinds and everything. And, when you make something and, it turns out and you just have it and you just go, wow, that was incredible. And that was what happened with this recipe. It just is so good. It's something that anyone would love. You sometimes with keto cooking, not everyone, likes what you're doing is, sometimes, but this is one of those recipes where everyone is going to like this. It is so good and so easy. It's very easy.
Yeah, you're right. I've pretty much quit frying anything because I was so used to making stuff with flour and things like that, battering it and throwing it in the frying pan. I've pretty much switched to smoking meat and grilling meat. So it's going to be interesting to actually throw something in the pan again this time. Well, let's move on to the gravy. Now, hey, being from the South, gravies, I have high expectations for the gravy. Tell me about the gravy.
Well, I grew up on my mother's cream gravy. So, that is just what we had on biscuits. We had it on chicken fried steak. We had it on so many things. And so to find a keto cream gravy recipe was just really important to me. And this recipe was really good. I did thicken it with some almond flour. I think that's the first time I had tried that. And it worked out great, but you can thicken it with cream cheese or, use a little xanthan gum. You have to be very careful with xanthan gum and just only use a little tiny bit. But yeah, it just turned out perfect. And I used the drippings from the pork chops, which that's kind of key to it. You got to use those drippings and it just flavors it so amazing. And so it's something that would be good on so much. And I really liked how it turned out.
Well, Denise, I appreciate it so much that you helped me out, especially since I can't taste anything. I'm just going to take your expert opinion on that. And I'm going to jump in the kitchen and get started. Well, okay, we're getting started here with our ingredients. I've got 4 boneless pork chops. The recipe calls for about 1.5 pounds, and you can use bone in, boneless, or whatever. And then about 1/4 cup of Dijon mustard, but it says you can use whatever kind of mustard you like. That's pretty much just a binder. Calls for 2 cups of pecans that have been grated up. I threw these in the food processor for a few seconds, chopped them up there, and 2 eggs. And now it's all about the process. So what we're going to do is we're going to rub these down with the mustard first, then we're going to batter them up, and then we're going to put them in that. So should be simple. I'm going to pour some of this out here, so just a shallow dish, and it says make sure you press it down, but let's go ahead and start rubbing these down with a little bit of mustard. I'm just using my hands. It says about a tablespoon per side, but I'm just going to rub it on there. And the thing that I did different was I put my pork chops in a marinade for a little while. That's my favorite marinade, so you can do that. That's optional, but if you don't do that, you do need to at least season it a little bit. So, all right, I'm gonna put them right there until I get done. Just pretty much just rubbing them down. Hey, while I'm rubbing these things down, just a thank you to those that have subscribed and been supporting me while I'm recovering. If you're interested in a keto, low-carb lifestyle, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. You can follow my journey and get some recipe ideas. Or to see how simple they are to make, I pretty much just follow recipes, but my point is to show you how easy it is. If I can do it, my theory is anybody can do it. So, all right. Now we're going to take and give them a little bit of an egg bath, just a little bit on each side there, and then we're going to press it into the pecans. This is the first time I've ever used pecans as a crust. When I started keto, I just pretty much started grilling everything instead of frying it, because I was used to breaded chicken and breaded pork chops and all that stuff, so I just grill it now. But this is my first time, and see how it turns out. All right, there's one down, 3 to go. Well, add me a little more pecans there. That really stuck on there pretty good, so let's get them done here. Okay, I have my pork chops all breaded up here, looking good. Now the rest of the recipe says put these in the freezer for about 10 minutes to help everything kind of gel together before you throw it in a hot skillet. So these are going in the freezer, and I'll see you in the kitchen. All right, I've got a pan with a couple of tablespoons of olive oil in it, preheating on medium heat, and I've got the oven heating up to 350 degrees because we're going to take them out of this, put it on a baking sheet, and then pop them in the oven. So that's how we're going to roll. Okay, I'm going to get these in the pan and get them going. It's preheated. Going to do 2 at a time as to not crowd them. And the instructions say cook about 2 minutes per each side. So we're gonna let it do its thing for a couple minutes. All right, now we're gonna put these in the oven until they reach an internal temperature of 165. Preheated oven at 350. Okay, the second part of this is a gravy. Now for the gravy, there's 2 or 3 tablespoons of almond flour, a cup of almond milk, 2 cups of heavy cream, and for my gravy, I'm gonna pour it over, just not gonna make it too difficult. I'm gonna throw this in the microwave like the instructions say and cook them, and then I'm gonna pour my gravy over this. If you want to do fresh cauliflower and rice it up, or just a bag of rice cauliflower, I like this pretty well myself, so I'm going to pour it over this. We'll get this going, and this is going to go in the pan after the pork chops come out, so we'll show you how to do that here in just a second. Now we're going to move on to the gravy. I'm adding the almond flour to that. She said let that cook about a minute or 2. I'm going to go around and gather up what oil's left in the pan, let it get saturated into that. And then next, we're going to add our wet ingredients. Going to add in our almond milk. And our heavy cream. And we're going to let this sit here and simmer, and hopefully it'll be done about the same time the pork chops are. Alright, these are fresh out of the oven. I'm going to probe them with my little air kill probe here. I at least want to see 165, so I'd say 170. 178, yeah, so they're done. You would at least want it to be 165, but not too much more than that or dry them out. So, all right, there is the final product. There's my green giant cauliflower and broccoli with the gravy spread over top, and of course the pork chop. And all this is calling my name. I'm ready to eat. So here's the dessert today that I'm going to eat when I get done with my pork chops. It's a pumpkin spice mousse, and if you look in the description, you'll see a link to that. Man, that turned out really good. That's the first time I've ever made pecan crusted anything. I think I've ate it one time, but I don't really remember. But it turned out, it was so simple and easy, not a lot to it. And I'm only assuming that it tastes good because I still can't taste and smell that good, but I'll take her word for it, my wife's word for it. My wife said I need to make it again, so that's usually a good sign, right? If you get a chance, head over to vertiworks.com, check it out. There's a lot of stuff there that she offers, and there's no ads on the pages or anything, but they are affiliate links. So if you see an ingredient that you don't have for a recipe, it's the same price on Amazon as if you was to buy it straight off of Amazon. But if you click that link, she'll get a portion of that for her hard work. So support her if you can. And until next time, hey, eat some pork chops and gravy. May the Lord bless you.